Being the only woman in, as you said, what, 300 students? Like, I was reading that on your Wikipedia page, and I'm like, like, I mean, I guess, like, what, I can't even find the words. What was your experience like as being the only woman in that program?
No, it wasn't great. Again, old, long ago times and mores. So not only was I the only woman, but because I was a freshman woman, I was actually locked into my dorms at night at 10 o'clock, and the doors didn't open again till 6 in the morning. And so
Wow.
I missed out on the team building piece of the engineering education because all of my male students, nobody cared when they went to bed and whatever. So they're all over on their quad forming teams to answer all the problem sets that you have to do as an engineer. You take the odd numbers, I'll take the even numbers, we'll compare, et cetera. And so there was this whole business of learning how to be part of a team that I never got. And that really was a problem later on. I was never part of a team until I had to lead a team. And if you don't know how to get the best out of the individuals and their in unique skills, it's really hard. So that was a lesson I had to teach myself much later in life, which would have come naturally had I been one of the guys in my engineering cadre. And, there were all kinds of embarrassing and difficult things. It's better today.
Yeah, for
2 years
sure.
ago, I did some work with Cornell, and 2 years ago, at least, the entering engineering school was 51% women.
Wow,
So,
that's incredible.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a
Wow.
big percentage increase from the 1 in 300
Well,
to 51.
it's a majority.
Yeah.
also a lot of years, guys.
Yeah, of course, of course,
Yeah.
of course. That's a big factor to play into it.
Wait, that's incredible. So, were you, yeah, I'm guessing you were the only woman throughout your entire 5-year course because um
No, subsequent years, some other women entered the engineering um, school.
right, but
Hmm.
not at your level, right?
Wow, that must be, yeah. Because I was also thinking about the one thing you said where they used to lock your doors at 10 and like what? How is that even legal? Like they just lock the girls' doors at 10 p.m.? Like how
Yeah,
can they do that? Like
it was called a policy in loco parentis, right? So you take these fragile freshman females and you have to act as if you were their parent and protect them.
wow.
I mean, I just remember. Um, so I had a policy that I set for myself, which is I didn't date any engineers. I just didn't like the fact that they showed up for dates with a slide rule on their belt. So I made it a policy to date architects. There was this tension between engineers and architects on the campus. And so the architects every 3 years had this amazing gala ball, bacchanal, right? They take some building that was going to be demolished or redone, and they go in and they decorate the hell out of it. They create an atmosphere, they create a world, and then have a big party. So as a freshman female, I had to get permission, right, to go to this ball, and in particular, permission to come back to the dorm after 10 o'clock because the thing didn't end
What?
until 2 in the morning. And so it was great fun. I went. Actually, my partner and I won the dancing contest.
Wow.
For the theme that year was Black Orpheus. So Rio, Brazil, the samba, etc. So that was such a big deal.
Wow. You have
Yeah.
to get a permission slip just to come to your own dorm? That's
Yeah,
yeah,
that sounds
I mean that was
insane.
literally a different world that we lived in at that time.
Yeah, it was. It's gotten better.
Oh,
And
for sure.
and
Yeah.
course. Now we discriminate against other categories and classes in a way that we shouldn't.
Mhm. Yeah, the situation right now with race is becoming more of a question and less sexuality, which was the case. But I believe it was also, was it this year or last year, I believe, where two women scientists for the very first time ever individually won a Nobel Prize without the inclusion of a man of a male anywhere in their thesis, right?
Mhm.
So I'm assuming like that was a huge moment for women in science. So like it's definitely improving. Like we definitely see that curve like moving in the positive direction. It's not there yet, but it's still in the positive direction, which is good.
Mhm.
Yeah, but in this country, when the discrimination and disequilibrium has guns in the mixture, it's we're really at a very difficult social time right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Wait, you're in America, right? Oh yeah, you're in America as well. By the way, I don't even know if we mentioned. Oh yeah, University of Toronto. We're in Canada, so we're a little different mindset with the whole gun situation. Anyways, let's, let's not get into Second Amendment. Let's stick to math and physics.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, um, in like before actually going to college, in high school, were you set on becoming an engineer just because you had told your father, I'm going to be an engineer? And did you actually enjoy the physics, the math, and all the requirements to becoming an engineer, so that also motivated you to go into it? Or were you just doing it because that's what you put your mind to?
Well, that's what I had decided I was going to do. And so I had problems with guidance counselors who said, what do you want to take calculus for? You're just going to grow up and have babies, right? That
Wow, that is
negative counsel.
terrible to say. That is a
There.
terrible.
But on the other hand, I had a physics professor called Doc, right, who became a surrogate father for me. He was wonderful. And I don't, okay, this is really crazy. But at the time, if you were a high school girl, what you do is wear a chicken wishbone on a gold chain around your neck. I can't defend it, but that's what you did. So I went to Doc and I said, Doc, I want to silver plate this thing, right? I want my wishbone to be special. And so he worked with me after school. We wrote to all kinds of companies that electroplated baby shoes and all of that sort of thing to find out how you could do this. And I just loved working with him. And eventually we managed. And of course, you couldn't do it today because silver arsenic is not something you allow high school students to play with. But we did it, and I finally got a silver plated wishbone, which tarnished within a day. But I had it for a while. And so I really enjoyed the ability to work on a far out crazy idea with someone who was so supportive.